Hi everyone, it's Catherine here at Cat v Stitches. It is Tuesday evening and I thought I would jump on and do another stitch with me on my Carolyn Manning Amethyst piece. So I'm known as Cat v Stitches here on Flosstube / YouTube and also on Instagram. So hello and welcome back. Now I'm in a bit of an awkward position here at the moment because my cat Ruby has chosen right now to come and sit right down here. Now let's see if I can just, everybody hold on to your stomachs, let me just zoom out a little bit and you should be able to see her just here. So she's wedged right where my hand goes down. So I'm gonna have to see how long I can actually put up with that. I'm sorry, excuse me 1 second. Oh no, she's moving. Oh, she's moved. For some reason she doesn't like it when I cough or blow my nose, and I did actually do that. I didn't actually do that on purpose then, and I'm sure she'll be back before this is over, but bit of relief, I can stretch out now. Anywho, yes, hello and welcome back to my Stitch with me. I don't know if I've already said, but it is Tuesday evening. I have finished work for the day and I've done all my chores. I've had my tea and I figured I would do one more evening on Amethyst before I put it away for the week. So I thought I'd take you along for the ride. So I think you can see what I'm doing there. Yep. So as usual, I am absolutely loving working on this, but because it is Spooktober and I have plans, I don't want to become obsessed with this and do it and stitch on it every night. So tomorrow I'm probably going to pull out Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain from Kathy Barrack and work on that. But I thought I'd treat myself and do one more night on this. I worked on this last night because I wanted to get it to the 30% mark, which I have now done. Yay! So I just need to get it to 40% and I can start on the next one that I want to do. And in fact, there are two that I want to do because I've come to the conclusion that this is my favourite stitching. I just love working on this. So I want to really be working on one of these types going forward. So when I do finally finish this, I want to be able to just continue working on another one. So let me show you. Where did I put my phone? Oh God, I've just got a mess by the side of me here. Here we go. Let me find this for you. So I have already showed in my excuse me, in my other floss tubes my the ruby one I'm wanting to do, but let me just bring it back up again for you so you can see. That's, let me just patterned Carolyn Manning. So this is the one I am going to start next. I think you can see that. That's Ruby. So I have this kitted. I've got the DMC and I've got material for that. So it's going to be on 14 count Aida, but so the same as this, but it's in the colour blush. But I want to do this one. Look at that one. How gorgeous is that? Let me just bring it across there. So that's turquoise. That is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to, let's see how many, let me just get the pattern off there. Oh, there's quite a few DMC needed, but I think I'll probably have most of them already in my collection, but I reckon if I can get another 14 count Aida that's not white, but as you know, a minty or green colour, or even a grey colour, to be honest with you, I might get that one kitted up. And then what I'll do is I'll start on the, sorry, there's my octopus needle minder, absolutely love that one. So I'll start on the ruby one next, and then when I get, oh, there's a kid having a screaming fit outside my window there. I'll start on the ruby one next, and then when I get to 40% on that, I'll then work on the turquoise one. That is my plan. So this is now at, it's at, so this amethyst one is at 33% now. If I show you what I've done, there you go. So that's what so that's pattern keeper there. So that's what I've done so far. Obviously green is the ones for the colour, that's the, ignore the green, let's just say ignore the green. So that's what I've done so far. That's 33%. I'm just still so very happy with this. I'm just absolutely loving it. So let's carry on with this colour. Just get this out. My little homemade floss drops. There we go, there's all the lovely colours on this one. Right, so anyway, that's the preamble done. The cat's disappeared, so I've got a bit of extra arm space now. So let's get serious with some stitching. Yeah, so I have finished work for the day. It was a bit of a busy day at work today. I've been doing training, and so I come from a compliance background. So more often or not when I'm doing training, it's because things have been found that could cause issues for the company. So I need to do some training on people at the front end who are dealing with customers, maybe sales staff or aftercare staff, and just make sure they're following all the relevant regulations and whatnot. And a lot of the time when you go in and you may be telling them, well, you can't do things in a certain way because it could get the company in trouble, you're faced with, I'm not going to say outright hostility, but you're faced with, you know, a lot of, you know, people who are thinking, well, hang on a minute, you're going to stop me from doing my job and maybe stop me from earning as much as I usually earn. So you've got to try and find a way to break through that and get them to realise that what you're actually trying to do is help them to do their job better and to ultimately stop the company from being, you know, from getting into trouble. And then nobody's going to be earning any money. So yeah, it's, you know, you have varying degrees of success. You have some people who are open to it, who, you know, recognise that, right, hang on a second, sorry. Yeah, right, sorry. Who recognise that perhaps they can't carry on doing things the way they've always done it, that they do need to adjust and change. And, you know, it's like with everything in life. It's a case of those who adapt survive. But then you get quite literally the old dinosaurs who are so used to doing things one way that it's just so difficult to get them to realise that you're not the enemy, that you are trying to help. So it can just be very, very frustrating, especially when you work really hard to design training programs that are actually, you know, you really are trying to help them. But anyway, that was most of my day today. And, you know, like I said, there were, though, you know, some of the sessions were actually really good, and there were people who were actually willing to listen and to learn, and who had really positive feedback about it. So I love those kind of sessions, because I do really enjoy doing training, and it's something I don't do as much as I used to. But yeah, it was, yeah, I just you just do get a bit frustrated, and but you know, what can you do? You've just got to keep on top of things and just keep plugging away and hope that eventually the message breaks through. But the good news for me is that my company has just recently hired compliance manager who'll be working on my behalf, who I get on really well with, and we seem to be on the same page. So I feel confident that if I say things need to be done in a certain way, that he's going to follow through on it. But anyway, yeah. In other news at work, we've recently switched over to using a new CRM, that's customer relationship management. It's a new system, and as per usual in these things, there's loads of not issues, all the data's being transferred across, but you know, things go in the wrong folder, or they're not quite what you're used to, or things get a little bit disorganized. So it's caused not mad chaos, but a little bit of chaos. So tomorrow I've basically loaned myself out to one of the managers and said that, you know, whatever you need me to do to help out, I will do. So I'm going to be doing stuff that I've not actually done in years, and doing some admin work. And to be honest, I'm actually looking forward to it, because it's I remember, you know, I have fond memories of many years ago when you used to go in, oh god, itchy arm, sorry, excuse me, when you'd go in and you do your job, and then you'd finish for the day, and then you could go home and not have to think about your job until you turned up the next day, you know, and you worked with nice people, and literally that was it. And then for those who wish to do it, and you know, there are lots of people out there who are quite happy doing just admin roles, whether it be because that's what they're comfortable to do, they maybe don't like. In my business, it's, you know, like other work, if you're not doing admin work, it's very heavily phone based, and not everybody likes doing phone based work and talking to customers, and that's fully understandable. When I first started doing it, I was very nervous about it. I mean, luckily I got over those nerves fairly quickly, and now, you know, I have no problem even dealing with some of the most horrific complaint calls, and you know, being called things left, right and centre. You learn how to deal with it. But you know, as I progressed and moved further up the ladder, slowly but surely you get to the position where you can't shut off. You know, when you finish in the office at the end of the day, that doesn't mean in any way, shape or form that you've finished in the day. And you know, on the journey home, you're constantly thinking about it, and when you get home, you're you're either on your computer again, or you're being phoned, and you're being, you know, harassed left, right and centre. And I mean, these are the decisions you make, these are the decisions that I made. But every now and then, I mean, I've just started this new job, so it's not quite kicked into high gear yet, but I know it's coming. Oh yeah, I know that's coming. So this training has been a nice change of pace, just to be able to, you know, sit in a room and do some training. And then tomorrow it's going to be nice. I can just sit at somebody else's desk and forget about my emails and my computer for a while and just do admin work. So I'm strangely looking forward to that tomorrow. And then on Thursday, I have to write a company-wide risk policy and manual. So yeah, a little bit of a change of pace there. So, you know, at least my job is varied. I don't get bored with it. Talking about risk. So I have done a lot of things for companies I've worked with about risk. And, you know, breaches and, you know, the risk register and the breach register, where you've got to identify all areas of risk within your business and put in plans for mitigation. You've got to look at what the risk appetite is for the business, and then you've got to set up a breach register for when breaches occurred, whether it be from legislation or internal policy or blah, 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 whatever it is. But when I draw up risk registers and try to think of all the different ways in which breaches can occur or risks can occur, one thing I never thought would be a risk was when you've got a plumber to come in to fix a sink and a hot water boiler that's attached to the sink, and when he flips the fuse for it to turn off the hot water boiler element of it, that it would flip because somebody had fitted the fuses incorrectly, that it would actually flip the switches and all the fuse board and knock out the power for the entire floor that we were on and cut all power. Yeah. So that was one business continuation risk that none of us had ever thought of to put on there, about the risk of getting the sink fixed. So that was interesting. Yeah. So we had fun with that, but luckily the company recently, sorry, I'm just marking some stuff on Pattern Keeper here. Luckily the company had recently invested in getting everybody laptops so they could hot desk when need be, and obviously with Corona, work from home when need be. And our CRM is web-based and you can VPN into the server, so it's, you know, luckily most people's laptops were charged to 33.35. Most of our laptops were charged to the point where they would still have access to that, but they didn't have access to the phone system or anything like that. So it was an interesting hour or so while we waited for somebody to figure out what to do with the fuse box. So yeah, so that's a new one I've got to write into my risk register. What happens when somebody comes to fix the sink? Okay, come on. Sorry, I'm just picking another colour on Pattern Keeper. I want to make sure it's one. I'm just going to move that ever so slightly. There you go. I know it's a bit slanted, but I did came home from work and I thought I'd do this. So I set up my I set everything up and got the perfect angle, and then had to move it all because I wanted to have my tea, and can't quite find that perfect angle again now, so you're a bit skew with, so I do apologise, but I think it's pretty clear. It's pitch black outside now and it's been a pretty miserable day. I think we're truly entering into autumn here in the UK, and it's starting to get dark a lot earlier, so it's 5 to 7 now and it's pretty much pitch black outside. I think at the end of this month our clocks will go back an hour, but we're still pretty much heading right into autumn now, and more miserable days to come. I absolutely hate it when it's dark in the morning and dark in the evening, and you literally feel like you've been, you know, and then you're in work all day, and it feels like you've been in a cave, you know, like you're going in and it's pitch black, and you're coming home and it's pitch black. And I don't necessarily suffer from, you know, seasonal, what is it, sad, but I certainly feel it a little bit, you know, and it's always nice when that change occurs and it starts to get lighter, as opposed to the days closing in on you. But anyway, yeah, I finished work today and it started to pour down on the journey home, so that was fun. And then my engine light came on my car, so yep, now I had to phone the garage and see if I can bring it in the garage tomorrow morning to get that fixed. Or, well, for them to plug, because it's all computer based now, isn't it? For them to plug it into the little computer to find out what's wrong with it. Okay, so where to start on this one? I think we will start here. I've got a nice garage that I go to. I've been going to them for years and years and years, and they always, you know, look after me. So whenever I phone them up, they'll always try to fit me in to check things out for me, because I've had a couple of cars that I've seen with them. So they've seen me through some adventures with my car. Sorry, I hope I'm not getting in the way here. I can feel my head getting lower and lower. So I will do that first thing tomorrow morning before I go into work. And then I am working from home on Thursday, so if they actually need to do anything to the car, I will take it in then. I remember not this car, but the car I had before. I'd just bought it and I hadn't yet. I was due to take it into my garage to get it checked out. And I used to car share, well, not so much car share as in I'd pick up two people on the way into work, and they'd like pay me a little bit each month towards the petrol for it. But I just bought this car, and I think it must have been on the garage forecourt for a while. You know, it was a really good car, but the battery was obviously running a little flat. And we were driving into work, and we'd just come off a big motorway, and we were just at one of the big, we were at a big junction. We'd gotten off the motorway, but we were at this junction, and the car just stopped working. The battery just went dead and just rolled to a halt. And because we were blocking, I shouldn't have done it that way. Never mind, I'll just move over here. Because we were blocking, so we came off, so the motorway was here, we came off the motorway and we were coming round this roundabout to go this way into work, but then there were lanes going this way to go back on to the motorway, so a slip rolled there, and I broke down here. So I was blocking some people going straight on, but I was also blocking the slip lane to go there. But there was a little island here, so in this area here, so the two people who were in the car with me had to get out the car and push it so that we were right up against this little island here, so the people could get into the slip road there and the people could move there, because the traffic had started to back up the slip road back to the motorway. And I mean, we weren't that far from work, to be honest with you. It was just literally a little bit further down this road. And I'd phoned the AA. Here in England, it's the AA that you phone. So no, it wasn't Alcoholics Anonymous I'd called, but I phoned the Automotive Association, if we're being fancy. And because of the area we were in, they said they'd get somebody there pretty quickly. But I'd said to them, you know, you can walk to work and just leave me here if you want. And they're like, you're not walking. I mean, okay, it's only a 5-minute walk, but, you know, we'll stay in the car where it's nice and warm and watch people that we work with drive past and beep at us. But yeah, they weren't impressed that on this. It was a second-hand car, but it was a fairly. It was in good nick, apart from obviously the battery dying. But they just weren't impressed that literally the first time they'd driven it, that they'd been in the car. After I bought it, they'd had to push it. So yeah, that was fun. I've had a couple of I mean, luckily nothing huge, and I am a member of the AA for this reason. It's one thing my dad always told me when I got a car. He said, you know, no matter what, or no matter which one you join, always have breakdown cover. And I'm telling you, there's been some times that I've been very, very grateful of it. Although one time I was so this was the car before that one, my first car, which I actually inherited from my dad, who inherited it, well, not really inherited it, but got it from my sister. They did a car swap. My dad wanted a smaller car, my sister wanted a larger car, so they swapped cars. And then when he'd finished with it, it became my first car. It was a Renault, and it was quite a powerful one. They did turn me into a little bit of a boy racer at traffic lights. And then the next car I got after that wasn't anywhere near as powerful, and I was very disappointed that I couldn't rev off at traffic lights. But anyway, sorry, I'm digressing from my digression. So this may be a little bit of TMI here, but I had a doctor's appointment because I had some pain in my pelvic region, and so I was going for a checkup, I should say. And as I drove into so at our doctor's surgery, you drove down, it was a little hill, and then there was a little car park here, and then the doctor's surgery was here, and there was another car park off at the side over here. But I'd gone, because it was hurting me to move my hips and that I didn't want to walk far to get to the doctor's surgery, so I'd gone down the little hill and I was turning to get into one of the parking space, and my brake, it turned out my cable for the brake snapped, and the whole car I'd had to handbrake it quick to just stop it from moving because the whole thing was just out of control. But where it stopped, I was literally blocking anyone from being able to come out of this little part of the car park. So I had to phone the AA, and then I had to still had to go to my doctor's appointment because I was in a lot of pain, and I had to go to the receptionist and say, look, if this is happening, can you please just apologise to everybody for me, because my appointment was with the doctor, was pretty much then and there with the doctors. I was like, but if I phoned the AA, they said because of what's happening and because there's a danger that there could be an ambulance coming or whatever, they needed it. It was basically classed as an emergency, so that they'd pull somebody who was closest and they'd get somebody there ASAP. And so I said, well, look, just in case I'm in the doctor's surgery, when they come, can you just... They wouldn't accept my keys at reception. They said, oh no, we can't accept the liability for that, whatever that, okay, whatever. It was an old car. I wouldn't have cared if one of the receptionists had run off with the keys, but they said, no, we can't accept responsibility of the keys. So I said, well, if they come, can you just knock on the door so that we can then hand the keys to the AA person? So I go to see the doctor, and she's so this is where I probably shouldn't have started this story, but we're here now, so I might as well finish it. She says, well, look, we're going to have to do a pelvic examination, and for all you women out there, I'm sure you know what that means. So I hop up on the doctor's on the bed, and she's starting the pelvic examination, and there is a knock at the door. And so the doctor, thinking it was the receptionist, just goes over to open the door, but she hadn't pulled the curtain properly around the bed where I was in the middle of a pelvic examination, opens the door, but unbeknownst to all of us is the AA guy had followed the receptionist back. The doctor opens the door, I'm there on the bed legs akimbo, as you are, and the AA guy just did not know where to look. And it was the doctor who screamed more than I screamed, slammed the door shut in the face, and kind of like grabbed my keys that are on the corner and just like shoved them out the door, and like heard the receptionist kind of like shouting at the AA guy about why had he followed her. And I'm just sat there, well, lay on the bed, just wanting to crawl into the earth in embarrassment. I mean, and the doctor couldn't apologise enough, but it was like, this is bloody typical. This is the kind of thing that always happens to me, if you know. Okay, so just to, no, I'm not. I was just about to tell you another tale, but it's like, I'm just thinking if I should really. Well, anyway, let's just say that that's not the first time inadvertent flashing of people has occurred in highly embarrassing situations, and I'm quite sure as my life progresses it won't be the last. But that was quite a memorable one, because then, oops, this has come undone. Let me just, where's my needle threader gone? Oh God, I'll just use this one. What I've taken to doing is using these needle threaders, but putting a needle minder around it so I can just attach it to my stand, and saves me having to embarrass myself of not being able to thread my needle. Voila, like magic. Yeah, so, but then I had to go and see this AA man, because obviously I needed to sort my car out. So I don't know who was more embarrassed when I did eventually come out, but because as any of my friends could tell you, I never do things by half. Oh, before we go any further, and before I forget, I'm not going to say any details or anything like that, but Hannah, if you're watching, I hope you're feeling a bit better today, and I am thinking of you, and that's enough said. But as any of my friends can tell you, I do not do things by half. So I'd had my examination, I came out of my doctor's to go to the car to meet up with the AA guy, and as I came out the doctor's surgery, I tripped over, went flying, and ended up twisting my ankle. The AA guy then had to come out of his van, go to this woman who he'd just inadvertently seen far more than he should ever have seen, and had to help me back into the doctor's surgery, where they had to examine my ankle and tell me that it was probably best if I went to the local accident and emergency to get it checked out to make sure I hadn't done anything more than spraying it. Now they could call an ambulance, but the AA guy was still, and my car was still blocking the car park. So the AA guy phoned in and basically they all said, we'll drop your car off at your garage, which was actually just around the corner, and I'll give you a lift to the accident and emergency. So this poor guy, who was probably dying to get rid of me, then had to take me to the local accident and emergency for me to get my ankle checked out. I can honestly tell you that that journey to the A&E was one of the most awkward journeys I have ever had in my entire life. We just, both of us, well, I stared out the passenger window, and he just basically turned the radio on full whop, and we just drove in absolute silence. And then when I got out the car, he then had to help me into accident and emergency, because not only was my hip now killing me, but my ankle was absolutely killing me as well. So he had to help me in. Oh no, we're fine. It's just missing. Oh, I thought I'd done that wrong then. I don't know if you can see, but there's a row of stitches missing there. But it's fine, it's fine. I just need to finish it off. Sorry, back to the thing. Yeah, he then had to help me into the hospital and hand me off to the nurses there to help me get to a chair. And then he just mumbled I hope you feel better soon, and got back into his van. The poor man. I mean, later on, I was able to see the funny side of it, because, you know, what am I doing here? Have I got this right? Let me make sure this is right. Yes, it's right. Sorry. There. Yeah, it's right. Sorry, I was losing my place for a minute then. So, yeah, the poor guy. I mean, nobody's paid enough to have witnessed what he witnessed that day. I mean, by the next day, I found it hilarious. But I have to say it did, you know, it was a little bit embarrassing. And I've started that one up. And I can only imagine what he then went back to his base and said to people. But anywho, once that's happened to you, it's what embarrasses you kind of it takes a lot to embarrass you once you know you can survive the AA guy witnessing that. So anyway, I don't even know how we got on that story, to be perfect. Oh yeah, my car. So I need to go to the garage tomorrow to get my car. Excuse me 1 second, I just need to flip this over. To get my car looked at, and then you can see the absolute mess that is the back of my work, but I do not care. Oops, there we go. So my car can be hooked up to the little computer, and hopefully it is not anything that is expensive. Although, talking about that, what have I just done here? I thought I'd done. Can you still? No, you can't see properly. There you go. Talking about expensive, and I am blaming entirely Mama Loves You GB for this. Sorry, I'm just going to move you ever so slightly. I'm really sorry that you are on an angle there, but it's a bit awkward. Let me see if this will No, okay. We're going to have to stick to that. I think you can see all right. Yeah, sorry, I blame Mama Loves You GB for this because she was on, I watched her Flosstube, her latest Flosstube, and she happened to mention that she had signed up for an advent calendar. So I've always wanted, well, I'm not going to say always because I've only been stitching for a year, but for the year I've been stitching, we've had a Halloween, a Christmas and another Halloween and other things in between, and there've been a couple of people like Michelle, Bendy Stitchy and Erin, 2 Martini Stitches, and some other people who have had advent boxes, and Rachel Ray, who have had advent boxes, and I've just absolutely loved them. And there was absolutely no way last year I could ever have afforded anything like that. And up until very recently, I could never have afforded anything like that. But I have treated myself and I have got this advent one, and who is it now? Was it Patchwork Rabbit or was it Lakeside? Give me 1 second and I'll tell you. But it looks so good and the contents of it sound amazing. So, excuse me while I just have a quick look for you. Oh, right, so it's Patchwork Rabbit. It is the advent calendar. And let me bring it for you. Let me have a look at the contents. Dum dum dum. Let me just put advent in. Nope, not adventure, advent. So they actually did a couple of them, but this is, well, here we go. Oh, it's sold out now. Oh, sorry guys, it's sold out now. But it's got, this Christmas, why not treat yourself to 24 days of stitchy goodness. The calendar will contain a carefully curated selection of festive items, including some limited editions and special exclusive items just for our calendar. Brands included will be The Gentle Art, so I think that's Gast, isn't it? Weeks Dye Works, Classic Colour Works, Kelmscott Designs, Dames of the Needle, Puntini, Just Another Button Co, and more. So yes, I absolutely cannot wait. So as soon as I saw her Flosstube, so totally enabled there, as soon as I saw her Flosstube, I went on and I purchased it. So I'm not really doing it as a countdown to Christmas, but I've just wanted to do one of those advent things for, you know, for the past year, so I'm really excited about that. So that will be a nice treat come December. But yeah, it's when she was talking about it on her Flosstube, I just immediately went onto Patchwork Rabbit and saw that they still had some there, and it was like, I either get it now or I go away and think about it, and given how many subscribers she has, the chances are that if I leave it too long, they'll, you know, and then decide that I want it, that they'll all be gone. So I thought, you know what, sod it, I'm just going to go for it. So that's what I did. Oh, hang on a second. Who is this? Oh, that's work. See? That's work about tomorrow. No, so, oh my God. I should have put my phone on silent. I do apologise. That's very rude of me. Let me finish this stitch. So yeah, so that's work. that is my one. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm just going to put this on silent 1 second. This is one person texting me. Oh yeah, yeah. Right, okay, sorry. I am just going to put this on silent if I can remember how to do it. Sounds. So I have put it on mute. Yes, there we go. Sorry, it is now on mute. Oh. Right, okay, so one thing I do enjoy though about I do enjoy the journey to and from work, and I'd forgotten about this because obviously while I was, with COVID and everything, I'd kind of been working from home, and prior to that, where I had worked prior to being made redundant, so I was working when COVID hit, and I'd literally only just started at this place. And excuse my nails, I know I can tell I'm back at work now because I've lost practically all my nails. I'm not even going to show you my other hand because it's horrendous. But I've got one long nail, or longish nail now, and I'm in absolute denial about it. I'm devoed. Sorry, but anyway, yeah, I digress all over the shop. I do apologise. I'm always been this way. So anyway, I was working at the start of the whole COVID thing. I'd started a job January 2020, and I was really looking forward to it. And then within 3 months, I was at the end of March 2020, I was told to work from home, and then by the end of April, I was put on furlough, and then in August, I was made redundant. Then I thought I'd looked out and thought I'd found this new amazing job come September, so a year ago. It turned out to be an absolute nightmare where, well, a lot has been said during my Flosstube, so I'm not going to get into that now because it'll just make me incredibly angry. But throughout all of this, I was primarily working from home. Well, when I wasn't not working, it was I was based at home. And one thing I'd forgotten about that I used to really enjoy was that on my journeys in and journey home again, I'd have my Audible on, and I'd be listening to books. And it was just so nice and relaxing, so that by the time I got into work, even if there was like loads of traffic on the journey in, I'd be nice and relaxed and chilled. And then on the journey home, even if work was manic and there was still stuff that needed to be done, at least for that journey home, it would calm me down, and, I'd be relaxed, and I'd feel that, I could take on whatever needed taking on. So it's actually been nice to get back into that habit. And at the moment, I am actually reading, because, again, people who have watched me know that I watch some of my other Flosstubes and whatnot, know that I'm absolutely obsessed with true crime stuff. I'm a murderino, my favourite murder. And so at the moment, I'm listening to, it's a book on the Green River Killer, and it's called, what is it? Green River Running Red. It's by Anne Rule, and it's basically concentrating on the actual victims and telling their story and what happened, and then it's interlaced with details of the investigation and like the key players in it, and it's heartbreaking. Hearing the tales of all of these women, or I say women, a lot of them were very young girls, from the age of 13 onwards, who, for one reason or other, a lot of them had found themselves in this precarious position where they were sex workers, and so we're very vulnerable to this kind of predator. And it's just absolutely heartbreaking hearing all the different stories, and then where they've come from, families where they were much loved, but they just kind of taken a, well, I don't want to be judgmental about it and say taking a wrong step, but they just found themselves in this way of life. And the families who are absolutely heartbroken, who had always hoped that they'd maybe come back to the family and whatnot. And it's just, I sometimes wonder why I put myself through them, because it can be quite heartbreaking, but it's also absolutely bloody fascinating. I've got another book queued up when this one's finished, and it's about, let me just find the title for you. For anyone, so this book, this Anne Rule one, anyone who's interested in it, I can hugely recommend it, because it's fascinating. And it also helped that the read, it's Barbara Caruso is actually reading it, and she's so good. But the other one I've got is Lost Girls by, sorry, let me just bring the details of it up. So the other one is Lost Girls, and this is about, this is the Long Island serial killer, this one. And I started reading this, and it is, that one as well is just, it's just so, you know, it's really, really good. So that is called Lost Girls. But yes, that's what I've got on at the moment as I'm driving to and from work. And it's just, I'm just really, really, I just find it so relaxing. And so that by the time, what used to happen is I'd drive into work, and I found the places that I've worked at for the past couple of years, they're all surrounding the M60 motorway. So that's, for anyone who in England, you may know the M60 motorway. After the motorway in London, it's one of the busiest in the country, and especially during rush hour, in the morning and in the afternoon, it's an absolute nightmare. So anything you can do to, where am I? I'm here. I've gone such a bizarre way to do all of this. I want to come up here next. So let me just, where do I need to be? I need to be here. Yeah, so I have to travel around the M60, and what should be a max 30-minute journey when there's not much traffic can sometimes work out to be well over an hour if one thing happens. I think what it basically is with the M60 is, especially one route, they squeezed in so many junctions on this such a small part of the route that there's no clear run to clear out the traffic. So, you know, after in rush hour when a lot of traffic's coming on in the motorway, you need a good stretch for them to join in the motorway before really you get to your next junction, and it starts to slow down again. But there's a stretch of the M60 where there's so many junctions, one after the other, with such a small area between them, that it just gets tangled, and it can be a bit of a nightmare. So I'd find myself, by the time I got into work, even though it was first thing in the morning, I'd walk in already with my stomach in knots and feeling so stressed from having to battle that motorway that, you know, my day would start off really badly. But then I realised, well, I found that by listening to books, more than music, because music would never do it, but by listening to the books, that, to be honest, sometimes I'd like it when it would take an hour and a bit to get in, because it meant I could listen to more of the book. So, you know, but what it basically meant is that I just felt so less stressed when I got into work. And again, like I said, on the way home as well, if it took forever to get home, especially in winter time, and it'd be pitch black out, and normally you just want to get home, blah blah blah. But if you've got the book on, it, you know, of course it's not ideal, you'd rather be listening to the book at home, but it's it was just nice. It's just nice to listen to the book in the car and then just not be so bloody stressed. Because let's face it, you know what, I've done it again. So I put these 2 needle minders down somewhere and then couldn't find either of them, and it's because both of them are together. So there we go. Let me just put that one back over there. Use this. Yeah, so that's the book I am listening to. You know something, I was worried that I'd just be here and have nothing to talk about, and I'd just be, you know, drumming my fingers trying to think of things, but as usual I've just whittled on about an embarrassing incident with the AA and listening to books in my car. Oh, but what I will say about is my plans, because I'm actually quite excited about my plans for this weekend. First off, I'm going to visit my brother. He lives in North Wales, and I had actually planned this visit for some time, but I had to keep delaying it because either I was starting work, or I had to go to see my parents, or COVID things or whatever. And they live in North Wales as well, and they had tighter restrictions down there, but I kept saying, no, I'm going to do it. And then also I have a bike that I'm going to give to my niece. She should be tall enough for it now. I can't use it anymore because I've got major issues with my coccyx, and I've got arthritis in it now. So what that basically means is that anything like a bike seat is like full-on torture. I mean full-on torture. So I can't ride this bike anymore. So I've basically said, look, she can, if she wants it, she can have it. And she's been wanting a, like, you know, grown-up bike for ages. So she's happy about that. So it's been in my spare room for about 4 years. I've just got to give it a polish and a clean, and then I can find all the bits for it, because I had to take the front wheel off. I don't know how to put that wheel back on, so I just got to hope my brother can figure it out. I do know where all the parts are, though. I did keep an eye on where they all went, but I'll just leave it for him to put it back all back together. I should have made note really, but it was years ago that I dismantled it to take it up to my spare room. So anyway, yes, I'm going to visit them this weekend, but I will admit to you that one of the reasons why I'm wanting to go this weekend is because I realised that one of my favourite needlework stores, this is just put this down here out of the way. My favourite needlework stores, a recent find as well, Create Nostalgia. Their actual shop is about 15 to 20 minutes away from where my brother lives. So I'm going to go on Saturday and I'm going to pop in there first of all, and then I'm going to go visit my brother and my niece and nephew. Now, I happened to mention to my mum that I was going to pop into this store before I went to see my brother, my sister-in-law, and my niece and nephew. And so they happened to do a call with my mum the other day, and my mum said, oh yes, Catherine's going to visit the sewing shop just around the corner from where you live. Do you know where this is? So now my brother and that just think that I'm only going down there purely to go to this sewing shop. So yeah, thanks for that, Mum. But anyway, I am paid on Friday, so from what I've seen of pictures of their shop, they've got like, you know, a wall of threads, and they've got lots of different material, you know, linen and Aida and all of that. So my plan is to have some fun. Yes, I think it's going to be quite dangerous, the fact that I'll have just been paid, and I am really, really looking forward to it. So that is what's going to happen on Saturday, because I've got a couple of things that I want to, well, I just want to get some material as well, so, some linen or Aida. So I've got choices, you know, for projects, and I want to get some cream in that so I can do some more dyeing. And I can't, where's my scissors, excuse me, I use these snip scissors. So on my lamp that I have next to me, it's on like a goose lamp. It's a goose neck, one of those flexible necks, but it's like it's metal. So I have a homemade little magnet thing here that just goes on it, and then my scissors attached to that, and then that's on the lamps. And I actually needed to use those scissors, but there you go. So yeah, that's my Saturday, and I cannot wait. And what I will do on my next proper Flosstube, which will be done before the end of the month, I will show what I bought. But I cannot wait. I've been to a actual needlework shop before. It was the Nimble Thimble, which is also Wales way, but it's actually a bit further away than Create Nostalgia is. But they didn't have a ton of fabric selection and thread selection. So lovely shop, lovely owners, but yeah, I can't wait to go in here, because the other thing is I'm wanting to do Autumn by Cricket Collection, and I know I mentioned this on my video, but bear with me a second, let me just see if I can reach it. It won't be a mo. Oh. I'm not gonna knock it yet. Here it is. Oh, my arm. Sorry, I've got a bad arm. It's when I twist it behind or put some kind of twisting on it, it's absolutely killing me. But I can't get to see the doctor for a couple of months because everything's delayed, isn't it? So anyway, let me show you this. So this is Autumn Cricket Collection, absolutely lovely pattern. And as you can see, the letters are all block colours, so they're not variegated. Whereas, ow. This is Autumn by Cricket Collection, and the letters here are using variegated thread, and I absolutely, yeah, you can see the variegation there. Now they're all the same colour, the letters, and it's, as I said, using a variegated thread. Look at that crab or lobster or whatever it is. I think it might be a lobster, isn't it? Is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen? And those pigeons with actual French knots for the eyes, by the way. I'm rather proud of them. Anyway, the point. Come on, Catherine, you're doing it again. You're digressing all over the shop. I tell you, I can have a conversation and digress from a digression. There can be like 4 different layers to it. I'm a master. But yeah, so I'm wanting to do this next. I currently have some material for it. Let me find it. So at the moment I have chosen this material, which is 28 count, although if I do find anything else on Saturday I may change, although I probably won't, because it'll be a waste of, you know, the fabric's been cut, and I've done, you know, I've serged, so to speak, the edges on it. But the letters, different colours for each letter, and I'll show you them. I've got them here. Let me just get them out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another one somewhere. Here we go. 6. So these are the colours. There, and there. So those are the colours. Now, for anyone who watches Teresa Little Stitcher, she has done this, and I think she has used the DMCs, and they are absolutely lovely. They truly are. And you know, I think this is a gorgeous colour, this is a gorgeous colour, and they're actually showing up really nicely in this light. But I have a ton of classic colour work because I am a member of a thread club, so I get sent them every month, and I thought it would be nice to use some of these up and maybe substitute these DMC for not massively variegated colours, but some variegated colours. So for example, this here, maybe with that colour there. So that's Classic Colourworks Bandana, whatever, yeah. So maybe that for that. And then this one here, maybe that with that one, which is Barn Door. And, or there was that one there, which is Used Brick, but I think Barn Door probably. I've also got, that one could be Bing Cherry. And for this one here, no, that's the Weeks Dye Works one, sorry. For that, I've got Autumn Spice or Sassy Brass, which I absolutely love, although I think maybe the Sassy Brass. For that green, no, I think that's, nope, that's for that one. And for that, there's that. So I mean, at the moment I've got a Weeks Dye Works for that, but that doesn't really, Pelican Grey on that one, but I think, I'm not sure on that. But those, let me move these across a little bit so you can see them. No, I think that one's a bit too dark for that one. That one's a bit too light. Too light. So I've got some Weeks. So potentially that Weeks one. Actually, that one looks quite good. So those are potentially what I could swap them out for. But I am really struggling with it. I don't know if to trust the Cricut collection, as I have done, and as you can see, works out absolutely wonderfully. I mean, that is just, I just absolutely love this one. Or do I get a bit creative and switch the colours? And I don't know what to do. I'm not brave like the many other Flosstubers who just don't even think about it and just switch them in. So, yeah. Or I could just, I mean, I think if I did maybe that, switch that one and those, and maybe just stuck, I don't know. My guess is that if I do it for one or two, I'd have to do it for all of them. It would look a bit weird having two of them variegated and not the others. But yeah, so that is my dilemma. I know that's not necessarily a world-ending dilemma, but it is a dilemma nevertheless, and one that is, quite frankly, driving me crazy. So I'm going to go to here on Saturday, and I'm going to look to see if there's a different, potentially maybe a different fabric I can use, because I do actually really like that. that colour fabric, and I'm sure I can use the thing I've already cut for a different Cricut collection one like this. And I may look to see, oh, look at the cats on this bag, how gorgeous are they? I may look to see if they've got any other colours that are close to them, but I don't know what to do, and it's driving me insane. And yeah, basically don't know what to do, and it's driving me insane. So that's part of my trip on Saturday, to basically bug the ladies there who know a lot more about sewing than I do, and see what their opinion is and whether they think I should swap the colours out for variegated ones or stick with what Cricut Collection have said. So yeah, so that's one plan on Saturday, and the other is to do the weekend to work on my sorry, you're getting all the crinkles here, my other Cricut Collection one, which is Sleepy Hollow. I'm currently working on that middle, sorry, I'll move that away very quickly, currently working on the middle section, and I'm doing it like this, as I'm going to do it as a flat fold like this. And this is fabric I dyed myself, and this is where I'm up to on it at the moment. Can you see that? Yeah, there we go. Huh, I'm gonna mow. What's going on with these stitches? Oh, okay, well, they're fine. I may end up taking out some of these stitches here because I don't think they're lying very well. How have I done them on the back? Yeah, it's these ones here that, yeah, I may end up having to do something about them. I don't like the way they're lying. No, it looks odd. I think I've done them in two different ways. You can see on the back, they've, yeah, I'm not liking that. Oh, balls, I might have to frog them. I did this on my, Those Who Sing, for the one I'm doing for my mum. I've got a picture here. It's always on white. It always looks odd on white, and I've finally figured out a way of doing it where I like how the stitches lay. But let me just see if I can find the picture. So it's a white building on the corner, and I did it the first time and the stitches just looked awful. So I had to frog them all out, and I redid them, and then I was really happy with the way they looked. So I didn't take, because I'm stupid like that, I didn't take a picture of it the way, I didn't take a picture of it when I didn't like it, but I took a picture of it now. So I really like the way those stitches are laying there. So that's the whole thing for Those Who Sing, and I absolutely love this. I've got the frame upstairs to sort that. But what I might do is frog out these white stitches here, because it almost looks like I've gone the wrong way on some of them, and I've not. The stitches, no. Well, anyway, this is what I'm going to work on Saturday evening and Sunday, because I'm not actually going out anywhere else once I get back from my brother's. And I may even work on this Monday, because I do love this one as well. That's the problem, I love so many of them. But and then, oops, sorry everybody. And then the weekend after, when I've made the decision on autumn, I'm going to work on that. Friday, the Witchy Stitcher will come out with the next drop for the Cryptid Sal, and so I'm generally getting them done Friday evening, so I may end up doing that Friday evening. And oh my god, it's been 1 hour and 14. So what I think I'm going to do is, because I probably bored you all to death, told you far too much about myself than I should have done, managed to stop myself telling you, oh hello, sorry, one of my cats, can you see that there? There she is, right in the corner there. Managed to, however, stop you from telling you a highly inappropriate story about the time I flashed a bunch of firemen, which I'm not going to tell you about, or the time in which I accidentally flashed a bunch of police, but again, I'm not going to tell you about that. But I am going to leave you here to enjoy the rest of whatever it is for you today or tomorrow, whenever this goes up. And thank you for watching, if you have watched, if you stuck with me, and if you do like what you've heard and possibly what you've seen, please do like and subscribe. Again, there is a competition that I'm running at the moment, and it's in my, well, not so much a competition, but there's a draw that I'm going to be doing, and it's, if you want to enter it, it's the Hello from Liz Matthew pattern and another pattern that I'm looking to do as a giveaway from when I reached 500 subscribers. So if you just go back to my last full Flosstube, at the end of the video I go into the giveaway, and so if you leave a comment on that video, I will enter you into the draw, which I will hold at the end of this month when I do my next full Flosstube. So as always, I hope you are all keeping safe and well and doing whatever you need to stay that way. And I am sending you all my love and respect, and hope that I get to stitch along with you. Oh, okay. 2 of my cats have just decided to declare war on each other. Excuse me. Ruby, stop it. Sasha. What are you doing? Yes, what are you doing? Sasha. Sasha. Leave your sister alone. She drives me insane, this cat. Good job, I love her. Yes, so my love and respect out to you all. Have a lovely rest of the week, and I will see you on Monday for my next update, my next Spooktober update, where hopefully I'll have some nice stitching to show you, and I can tell you that my trip to Create Nostalgia has been a success. So I will see you all soon. Bye.